Okay, you've drawn up your weldment. This represents a little workbench with a table down here or a shelf down here in the middle of the workbench. And I want to add some structural members. So I have a fully defined 3D sketch. I'm going to select structural member from the weldment ribbon bar. I'm going to choose the standard of tubing I want or material. In this case I'm going to use the North American standards in inch. I'm going to add some square tube. And the tube itself is 2 inch by 2 inch with 1/4 inch wall thickness. So I come out into the sketch and I just select all the lines that represent the members of the weldment. After I do that, you'll notice by default we zoom in to the first line we selected. The center of the profile for the tubing follows the line you've sketched. You need to keep that in mind when creating your weldments because typically we sketch to the outside profile. And that's fine. If we want to change that, we can come down here and click on Locate Profile. It's going to zoom into the original sketch, and any place there's an endpoint, I can move that to be the profile. Out here where the corner would be, I can choose that. I can choose any one of these points to be my profile. As long as I say Locate Profile, and then I can change it around until I'm happy with what I want. We definitely want to keep this in mind when we create this sketch for our weldment. The other thing you'll notice with the weldment, by default when we create it, the ends are cut with what we call the miter cut. There are several things I can do at this point. I can add a gap. So if I want a 1/16 of an inch gap, I just add a 1/16 of an inch gap, and then I'll add a gap between the pipes. If I don't want a gap, I'll leave it at 0. The merged mitered trim bodies is a unique little feature. If I currently exit this command, up here I have a cut list. You'll notice there's 4 items. So I'm going to right click on the cut list to update it. Come down, say Update Cut List. The little symbol here will change as soon as it's updated. I can expand the cut list and I can see what the items are. So what we currently have is item 1 and item 2. So there's 2 of these members and 2 of these members in our cut list. I'm going to go back and edit the structural member I just created. And now I'm going to change merge mitered trim bodies. What does this do for us? Well, we'll turn it on, and what it does is rather than have 2 of these sections and 2 of these sections in our cut list, we're just going to have 1 section in the cut list. So in other words, it's going to straighten out the tubing, tell me what the total length would be, and what it's implying is when we cut these corners, we're not going to cut all the way through. We're going to leave a thin wall of material here so we can bend the pipe. We'll cut 1 section most of the way through, bend it together, and then weld it up. So I'll just say OK. Again, the cut list has changed. I can right click and update it. Okay, and now we just have 1 structural member. So depending on how you want to make your weldment will affect how you do this. So I'm going to go back in and edit this original structural member. Turn off the merge mitered ends, and I have other options for the corners. I can just make them butt up against each other. Right? As soon as I turn on the butt up against each other, and I can change which end butts up against each other by changing this switch, I have a couple other options. Do we cut the tube square, or do we cut it to fit the profile of the other tube? Okay, so we can do either. I'm going to go back to just a regular mitered corner. And I can also create more than 1 group. So if I'm happy with this group, I can just click Create a New Group and choose the type of tubing. I'll stick with the same, and I'll add these members down here to this group. If I'm happy with that, I can right click. So I have structural member here. Both groups are contained within it. For this, I'm going to add more structural members for the supporting legs, and this time we're going to use rectangular tubing. So again, select structural member, switch our profile to rectangular, and choose our size. going to choose 3.5 by 2.5 with 1/4 inch wall as well. And I'm going to make the legs a new group. So if we look at this, we may want to change how we locate our profile. Okay. The other option we often want is to rotate this. Load it in some rectangular tubing, and maybe I wanted the longer length to run along this member. So in order to change that, I'm just going to tell it I'm going to change the alignment. So I can click here in alignment, and what I want to do is select a sketch entity or a line to indicate what it should be aligned with. So I'll go back here to the isometric view, and if I want to align it with this as the reference, I can now alter the degrees here. Set it up to 45 or whatever I desire. Right. You'll notice as I change the alignment, the angle's relative to the line I chose. And I can also align it horizontally or vertically. So I can rotate my pipe until I'm happy with its location. And as always, when you're done, save your work.